All right, man, let's talk about Richard Hitchens got the win over Kamboso. I think it was an 8th round TKO body shot. Kamboso looked like he a little bit too small for 140 pounds. But Hitchens, that's why he was so confident to bet the 50 stacks. He was very confident in betting his 50 stacks. He was faster, quicker. I mean, a lot of people made a whole thing of the weight for Hitchens going into this fight, the weight cut. On fight night, he really didn't have to get pushed. That's one thing I seen. He didn't have to get pushed. No, he didn't have to get pushed in this fight. And what I mean where he didn't have to get pushed for this fight, Kamboso couldn't really, really tested that weight cut, really fuck with him because he didn't control the pace. Hitchens got the fight at his own pace the whole night. Hitchens got the fight at his own pace the whole night. So he took his time. I mean, committed to his shots. He was more stationary, kind of similar to the second. To the fight where he won the title versus Paro. He started to settle down, plant his feet, take his time. It was a very surgical approach. Kamboso landed some shots here and there. Most of them was grazing shots. He just was fighting a bigger, stronger guy. More athletic guy, more powerful guy. Kamboso seemed to be 135 was the best way for him. He landed some body shots here and there on Hitchens, but every time Hitchens hurt him, it was the difference. That's what it was. Every time Hitchens landed, it just looked different when he punched him. He took his time. He was able to fight at his own pace, pick his shots. Every time he pretty much hit Kambosos to the body, it bothered him. And Kamboso was just a fish out of water. That's it. He was an older fighter who, had been passed around like an OnlyFans model or porn star. And, he was just there for one last payday. That's it. He was there for one last payday. He talked this shit to try to get people to come to the fight, which they gave a bunch of tickets away. I can guarantee you it. They gave a bunch of tickets to high rollers and, people that took pictures with Elmo and Big Bird in Times Square. If you bought a junior slice of cheesecake, if you came into the what was that, the M&M store or whatever it is, they gave you 5 Hitchens tickets. But he looked fast, he looked athletic last night. And that should be the end of George Kambosos. I mean, people continue to say, well, how did T.O. lose that particular fight? I mean, he lost his father. His grandfather, he was, and T.O. was expected to walk right through the guy. He had no respect for a guy. You got to respect your opponent. And in fights, it's kind of like once the fight is the fight, once the fight is the fight, it's hard to change the momentum. It's hard to, when you start off fighting and brawling, when you're a boxer, it's hard to get back to boxing. So, yeah, the fight is the fight. And I just think he came in with a mindset, I'm going to walk through Kambosos. I ain't going to respect him based off, sorry, got some shit in my eye. Based off what I seen, what happened to him in amateurs, I can walk right through him, and he got arrogant. He got arrogant. But this still don't tell you much about Hitchens. I mean, honestly, Hitchens, it don't tell you much about him. The Paro fight, it showed that he could settle down, and that showed that, like the Lamone's fight, that could just been a bad fight, lack of experience. But now he building up that experience right now. And, he might be ready. At the end of the day, Paro, he was a solid competitor. Lamons was a solid competitor, but is he amongst, the elites? I mean, at the weight class, yeah. I mean, it ain't too many elites there. I think T.O. at 140 is the guy. Gary Anton Russell, we seen he fight like a caveman. Coelho, it is what it is with him. He's a paid defender and user. Who else we got? We got Hitchens, T.O., Russell, and Coelho. So, yeah, those are 4 title holders of the division, So, T.O. being a lineal. But, yeah, I guess it's time for him to step up in the right direction. But, I guess it's time for him to step up and see if he can be in that vein with those other elite athletes. That's the question. Can he be in that vein with those other elite athletes? Is he up there with the T.O.s, with Devin, with Tank? Well, that's just the only question. Obviously, he's world level. He's a world title holder. Will he move up to 147? Will he continue to, make 140? Who knows? He's a free agent, so his value was in this belt. Let me say it again. He's a free agent. His value was in this belt. So him moving up, especially after, having a flop of a hometown performance versus Kamboso. So without him having that belt, he don't have no leverage in discussion and talks and discussions. So if, Turkey on his radar, of course, him and Devin will be the fight because Devin got Turkey. But with this no running policy, I'm not sure if that's a fight that Turkey want to put on, honestly. It's bad blood there, which I'll talk about in another video. But it was a good performance. It was a tune-up. Was it his first title defense? And that was a proper first title defense. Good tune-up. About 5 people bought tickets. Friends and family the tickets came out of his check. They ain't buy shit. All them Brads and Beckys that was there. All them Brads and Beckys that was there. They ain't buy no ticket. They was giving them. They bought a hot and ready and got a ticket. But yeah, he just gotta get himself out of there. He can't just start talking, when it's fight night. Yeah, he just can't start running his mouth when it's fight night. He has to start like promoting himself in between fights. So that's the difference. He can't just start running his mouth during fight night. But it was impressive. I mean, it was impressive for who he fought. The hands were fast. He seemed to be more powerful, seemed to rehydrate it well. And like I said, he was fighting a guy that's a lightweight, though. So he did what he's supposed to do. He showed that, he can, sit on his punches and, he can deliver his punches and shit like that. So he showed that. So, yeah, I mean, shout out to him. Shout out to him. He had a good performance. And, he said after the fight, he is a free agent. So, yeah, I look forward to it. Look forward. If he fight Devin next and they find a way to make that fight happen, so be it. I don't know if Eddie would like to keep him as a fighter. So I don't know if Eddie is want to keep him as a fighter or not, but we had to mess around and see. We had to see, man. So, only time will tell. Only time will tell. But yeah, I said for Kambosos, it's over with. It's time to retire. Maybe take a break on this flat out retire if I'm George Kambosos. I just think, just retire. You made your money. I know that fight he fought versus Lomachenko, he didn't make no money because he went with, allegedly didn't make no money. The word on the street is he went with upside. And the fight didn't sell him in Australia. So, yep, he went with upside. So we'll see. Yeah, for the most part, we'll see what happens. But shout out to them. But hey, thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. And the subscribe button is the bell icon button. Hit all notifications, increase your chance to get notifications. We go live, drop video. Check out the Fire Reaction playlist. Hit the link tree. Find me on X, Instagram, Spotify, Anchor, Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, Amazon, Kick, Twitch, the whole nine. Let me know what you girls and guys think in the comment section. Other than that, man, like I said, hit that link tree. Follow me everywhere. Peace.